Hello everyone, and welcome to another rendition of the Gaming Zone. I'm your host Chriz, aka The Mole, and joining me today is, from Showtime, Marcus Shadow.
Yellow.
From Rise from the Airwaves, James Phoenix.
Hello.
And comic books and fighting games, do they go together? We've had Marvel v Capcom, Mortal Kombat, Marvel Heroes and stuff like that. What happens when they're on their own? Let's find out with the latest one from NetherRealm Studio, Injustice. First up, as per usual, the presentation. So I'll turn it over to you guys first. Either one of you two who wants to go first, what did you think about the presentation of this?
I thought it was pretty good. The graphics are decent, given the fact that it was NetherRealm Studios who did it. It's not terrible. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the costumes and other costumes. I am. But for the most part, the presentation was very good. I loved the story. L-O-V-E-D, loved the story. It was completely awesome. It was dark. I was surprised at some of the places they went with the story. But, you know, it's all good.
I thought the presentation was great too. Specifically, I thought they put a lot of effort into the backgrounds of a lot of the fight arenas and a lot of depth and detail into the different things you see in the different arenas. Like, for example, I know in the Arkham Asylum, you can see the stairwells and a lot of the some of the stuff behind it. You see things collapsing as you do damage to the arena. It really gives a plus a lot of the interactivity of a lot of the items that you can interact with as part of the arenas are well developed and designed as well. They look realistic. Not to mention, as a design plus for a lot of the arenas, there are additional DC characters that are not playable that appear in the backgrounds of some of the various areas. I thought that was a great design addition as well.
Yep. I also thought the voice acting added a lot to the presentation. Because they used a lot of the quote official voices unquote of the characters, like for instance Kevin Conroy as Batman, and the guy who actually plays Arrow in the Arrow show as the Green Arrow. You know, they have the entire voice cast. First of all, very, very good voice cast, and second, like I said, are the quote official voices, and that just adds another dimension to this game.
Needed more Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Richard Epcar did a great job.
Yeah, I think he did a great job as a Joker, but I think he's still not quite a Mark Hamill. And since we're on the topic, Mr. Shaw, did you want to comment on Raven?
Oh yes, they asked Tara Strong to voice Raven. For those who don't know, she voiced Raven in the Teen Titans cartoon. And
Titans, go!
Yeah, I was not fond of the voice they asked her to do for Raven. Then again, I wasn't that fond of the look of Raven in this either. So yeah, there you go. And both Mole and I agreed. Yeah, they need to give her the comic version look, because the comic version just looks 10 times better than what they did in this game. But yeah, I was not a fan of the voice. I wish she had done a more adult or grown-up version of the voice she used in the Teen Titans cartoon, because it would have been a lot better.
I partly agree with that. Like I said, I prefer her looking like the Teen Titans or stuff like that. However, her look now in this is closer to how she's been since they brought her back in the comics and stuff. It's closer to and the voice now is meant to be more grown-up Raven, now that she's in charge of her power. It needs to sound more mystical and darker.
Yeah, I just didn't like that they did the digital editing with the voice. I think if they had not digitized the voice, I think it would have sounded better. Like I said, I can get past the look because the look isn't terrible.
I can agree with that.
So wait, you mean her being grown up and in control didn't get rebooted and everything else?
Yep, but I was going to say, now my thoughts on the presentation. Voice acting, good. Graphics could be better. Some of the models just look horrible. I mean, there's a running joke that Wonder Woman looks like a man. And basically, the story, I wanted to love this story, I really did. My only problem was, this is Injustice, Gods Among Us, and it's supposed to be all about the Justice League and all of the DC universe. It's so Batman-centric. It starts with Batman and the Joker. It finishes with Batman. It has most of the middle bit is Batman. He's the only character that gets two things going on. Most other characters like Wonder Woman get completely screwed for people like Joker to be playable or Batman and stuff. It's like to be playable on extra time. It's like, no, I should have been able to play as Wonder Woman through a big portion of the story more than I did, because it felt like some of the Batman characters got more story than any of the other characters, and that's kind of bad.
I can kind of agree with that.
Yep, it's like the roster as well, because I'll put on the presentation. It's like the roster itself. You've got Batman, Nightwing, you got Batman, Nightwing, Harley Quinn, Joker, Bane, fucking
Grundy.
Solomon, Grundy. You could
Grundy's more Superman.
you could possibly count Deathstroke, but I'll let that go as Cyborg and Raven and stuff, so he's more of a Titan villain. I'll let that one go. But Superman, you have Superman and you have Lex. Where the hell's all of Superman's villains?
Yeah, Doomsday.
You kind of have Doomsday. You have a watered down Doomsday in terms of story and stuff as well. But you also have Wonder Woman. You have Ares. Where's Cersei?
Yep.
In all fairness, do most people, obviously comic fans do, but do most other people know who Cersei is? Because I'll freely admit, until I started playing DC Universe Online with you, I've never even heard of Cersei.
Should have. She's appeared in a load of the animated stuff as well.
Has she? Okay. I just never heard of her, so
Yeah.
I can... Well, in all fairness, I've obviously heard of the god Ares. I didn't know he was a primary character in the DC Universe either, so...
Yep, and that just goes into my problem. It's like, we got Superman, we got Lex, and okay, we got Doomsday. We should, with how many people from the Bat family and villains are in there, we should also have Zod and Supergirl or Bizarro or something like that. Or hell, even Metallo, that'd be awesome. We don't get any of these things, or Brainiac, none of them.
Right.
It's like Manhunter isn't even a playable character.
Well, if it helps on the Superman front, we're getting Lobo as one of the 4 DLC characters.
We are, but I don't really count DLC as the main roster because they're extras.
Yeah, I think the roster could have been more balanced. I think the story could have been more balanced, but I do love the story for what it is. I thought it was executed very well.
It's like I mentioned to Marcus the other day. Another problem I have with the story, I don't like the pacing. The story seems cool, but I don't really like the pacing of, okay, I'm going to show up, oh, there's Wonder Woman, boom, she gets slapped off the fucking screen just so they can have a one-on-one fight. It's like, there was no need for this. We could have seen her go off and start fighting someone else a lot more at the same time, and then we could have cut those two together better, so then it's like those two fights and you're playing through each fight at the same time. That would have been cooler than, okay, I'm going to knock one character off the screen, or one character easily gets knocked the fuck out just so we can have our fight.
Yeah, what I think they should have done is, instead of splitting it up into chapters, just have it as a running fight. So, like, for one fight you play as this character, another fight, let's say one fight you play as Batman, and then the next fight you play as Wonder Woman fighting on the other side, and then you have the cutscene showing what happens afterwards when the two of them get back together.
Yep.
That would have been cool.
It's like with that would have worked so well if they just cut them together a bit more with the pacings. Like I said, with how often people got knocked out to do the one-on-one fights, I hate to say this, it felt like Smallville. And anyone who's listening to this while you're watching this video, go look on YouTube and type in Smallville Lex gets knocked out, and see how many times Lex gets knocked out easily in Smallville. It's that. But
the other thing they could have done too, that I think they, on hindsight, now that I've played other aspects of the game, and this may fit more into extras because I'm going to be talking about the Star Labs missions, I think they should have incorporated some of that into the story, like a lot of the mini games and stuff, because I think that would have served better and worked better in the main story mode than as friggin' Star Labs missions, because that's kind of annoying in the Star Labs missions. I expect that stuff to be more like fights and stuff.
I agree. It's like presentation, something else they could have done, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, and I know some people are going to boo this, but they should have taken some inspiration from when they did Mortal Kombat v DC.
Such as?
We should have played through it as the heroes and had the villain story, and then the endings be 2 alternate endings. So then we got this massive story about the same size it is now, but then we're also playing it from the villain side at the same time, so the characters that are suddenly being made to be villains that are heroes don't get screwed as much in story.
This is true.
But that was presentation aside.
I agree with that, and that also would have enhanced the gameplay. I'm sorry, but I know it's a fighting game, but you could do better than a 5-hour story mode. I'm sorry.
To be fair, that's actually the story mode was actually pretty long for a fighting game.
Yeah.
Was it? I'm not that experienced in fighting games, so.
And also, to be fair, kind of, Mole, you do get to play the quote-unquote villains side when you go through battles, because those are all the alternate universe versions of the characters, and most of them are villains.
They are. They are. That is true. One of them annoyed the hell out of me. But I'll get to that under either gameplay or probably extras, but...
Yeah, I also just want to mention last thing. I did like a lot of the costumes. I know Marcus didn't. I kind of liked a lot of the costumes, especially the Superman suits. Very cool. I like those. Batman look good. A lot of them look good. Some of them didn't look like shit, but a lot were good. And the other thing I did want to bring up is that I thought that the super move animations were beautifully animated.
Yes.
I thought they were beautifully animated, but some of them make no sense.
Yes.
Like what? Which one?
Like for example,
Batman with the Batmobile.
Yeah, because some of the stages, when you look behind him, like when you're doing it on like the Atlantis throne room, Batman will suddenly jump over the air as the Batmobile comes. Where the Batmobile should have come through would have been the wall where the tank was. It makes no sense.
True, but if it's a video game, it doesn't have to make sense.
It does when they want to be realistic.
Yeah, well, it's a comic book. Still the last thing you expect to be realistic.
Not if you read them. Because a lot of times, ironically, in comic books, they do get pegged down a little bit of, okay, this bit here doesn't make that much sense in terms of real world and where stuff suddenly emerges. And it's like, you're not going to read a Batman comic where the Batmobile suddenly emerges from nowhere.
That's true. But I think they were well animated enough. Batman, the one that comes to mind particularly is Ravens, where she summons Trigon. I thought that was really well animated, where Trigon's just suddenly there and just comes out of nowhere, and that whole sequence was really well animated. Also, the Black Adam Shazam stuff with the lightning, everything looked good. The Flash thing running around the world, the Superman knock you into the atmosphere and the down to Earth, Doomsday punching you through the planet. I just thought a lot were really well animated.
Yep. But that's presentation out the way. Let's look at gameplay next. So now we'll turn over to the gameplay portions. Since Marcus went first, James, tell us about the gameplay.
I will attest that the first thing that should be established here is that I am not what you might call a fighting game guy. I'm not very big on fighting games.
Can I just say,
yes.
as you've said in the beginning of this interview too, you're not a fighting game fan, and you're also not a fan of comic books. Yeah, you're clearly not this game's target audience.
Hey, I may not be a fan of comics. I'm becoming more of a fan of comic books. I'm reading a lot of trade paperbacks that we have at the library I work at, and I watch a lot of the animated TV shows.
I know, but it's a fighting game about comics, and you don't really like comics or fighting games. That'd be like someone who hates wrestling buying WWE 13.
Available in stores now.
Yeah, but continue.
Anyway, pick out a review here on the XPAL. Yeah, but anyway, the thing about this though is, normal. Listen, I own Mortal Kombat. I've played that. I got through the first bit of the story mode. It's the same thing I remember from when I played Mortal Kombat back on the SNES. Is you have to memorize all these combos, and it's just so very tedious. I really like the gameplay and just because you don't necessarily have to memorize combos to be halfway decent at the game. Is that if you play around the buttons a little bit, you'll eventually pick up some combos automatically. You don't need to physically look up every single combo. You'll eventually figure it out. And I like that about Injustice is it's more open to the everyday gamer, as you can just step in and start playing, and you might get your ass kicked the first 1 or 2 fights, but after like a couple of fights, you'll figure out some of the moves and be able to defend yourself without necessarily having to stop every 3 seconds to look at the freaking pause menu move list. So I really did like the gameplay, the combos, the various abilities of the characters. They're very varied. I like that a lot. And overall, I thought that just the gameplay was great. The interactive environment aspect of the gameplay, the transitions from one level area to another, I said all the super moves. I just think it's a great game. I will say some characters have better movesets than others. Particularly, Marcus and I were noting last night how completely fucking gimped Batman's moveset can be when he's against certain people.
Right, well, it depends on your playing style. That's the thing. Because each character is designed for a specific playing style. Where, take Batman for instance, Okay, his moveset is gimped primarily because his power isn't much of a power. It's completely friggin' useless, those little piddly bats, compared to everyone else's power. But that aside, Batman is built for a combo master. If you're good with combos, you can wreck someone with Batman. Myself, I'm not much of a combo guy, so trying to use him, I feel a little underpowered. That, and he's got no melee move. I'm like, yeah!
To be fair, his power move, when you press the circle button, we all played on PS3 by the way, but yeah, when you press the circle button you use the power. I will point out, his seems to be more effective than Catwoman's. Another Batman character.
Catwoman's. The combo power? That thing's awesome.
Where if you keep hitting him and you get the circles, you can then use them as a move. But the fact is, you're reliant on building that up to use it. Whereas Batman's is pretty much the same thing. You press circle, you get the bats, and then you can use them as like the zzz around you as an extra move, or just fire them at people. But you're not as dependent on building them up.
True. Like I said, again, it comes down to your playing style.
Yep.
Yeah. So I know that was wrong. I know we had some. Again, Mark specifically had some big issues with the Bane character. Being basically completely useless, primarily because he's slow, and also because his moves are just kind of weird. Did you want to elaborate on that, Marcus?
Well, he's slow, and a lot of his moves have a lot of wind up or charge because, like, for instance, he's got an actual charge move where he dashes at you, but it's got a slight like charge up or wind up before he dashes at you, and just the fact that a lot of his moves you just can't pull out of your ass, you have to set up for, just makes him, for me, the worst character in the game, probably, just because it's like, ugh. I mean, his Venom power-up is really good, actually, but the rest of his moves, because he's the power character and he's the grappler. I've never been good with those kinds of characters. He's slow but powerful, and it's just like, oh, it's so infuriating when I'm playing as him, because it's just ground my gears. But for the Mole, you're more of that kind of close combat strength character, so...
Yep, I was going to say, I highly disagreed with that, ironically, James, because I was playing through before and said to Marcus, you know what, I'm going to pick to go through the battle mode as someone I've not played before. Yeah, I'll play as Bane. And then I was saying to him, oh my god, Bane's awesome. He's basically Goro in Mortal Kombat, that if you know how to use that type of person in a fighting game, dead vicious as hell.
I actually find it kind of funny that the types of characters we like to play in like RPGs and stuff is exactly the same characters we like to play in this fighting game. Because you like Bane and Grundy and stuff, the more up-close personal strength characters, the tanks. And in RPGs, I like the range characters. I like archers and hunters and stuff. My favorite characters in this game are Deathstroke and Green Arrow.
See, my least favourite are the ranged ones like them. However, my favourite aren't the power types.
Really?
My favourite's Nightwing, which I'm so glad at because he's my favourite character that's on the roster, and Harley Quinn. I love Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn's awesome, especially her power move where it's more random, where it's either a boost or it's a weapon and stuff. That's kind of cool. I like her.
But the point of all this rambling, folks, is that the gameplay is really, really, really good in this game, and the characters are all unique, they're designed well, and they're designed with varied player types in mind. So there is a character for everybody in this game.
However, there is one thing I will address gameplay-wise I hate.
What's that?
Okay.
The clash meter.
I knew that was coming.
I hate the clash system, because in terms of fighting games, if you have something like the bar that goes around the side and stuff like the X-ray one in Mortal Kombat or the EX moves in Street Fighter and stuff, essentially they're to help you when you're stuck in the corner and you use them, or to help you do another move when you want to do another move because they're powerful. However, what this game's done, it's taken that and it makes you, like on the last section when someone's low on health, if they do a clash, you have to bet that against the other one, which means 9 times out of 10, or a lot of times, like online I've seen this, and I noticed the computer seems to do this too. If you've used your meter early on, essentially the other people know this, and they wait till you use yours to then initiate the clash and then bet full, which will give them a huge fucking health boost.
Mm-hmm.
Which means essentially what it's doing is making you not want to use the move which they're encouraging you to use.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. Also, since we're talking about gameplay, talk a little bit about extra stuff. Again, going back to the Star Labs thing, I like the idea. I like some of what's in there, but half of that crap, oh my god, the gameplay is so infuriating in that because a lot of it is so like accuracy dependent. It's all about timing and stuff, and I am terrible at timing stuff. And some of it you have to have such like twitch reflexes that it's ridiculous.
And ironically, while I haven't played through all of them, I played through some of them, I like the Star Labs thing. 'Cause I'm like, yes, it's something challenging, it's something fun. It reminds me of the Mortal Kombat challenge tower, which you have to go with from the other game. The only downside to it is I don't like the rewards you get for doing it as much, so therefore I'm not going to do them as much. I'm not going to do them as much of in a hurry as I did when I had to unlock Flesh Pit Melina. But yes, last thing with gameplay we can talk about is what do you guys think about how they did the environmental grapples, because in this game choosing your environment can be as important as choosing your character.
Yes. I love the environmental grapples. You kind of have to know the stage if you're going to be using that stuff. Also, transitions. They added transition stuff, which I think they took out of MKVDC, if I'm not mistaken. But the transitions in this game are awesome.
Yeah, they did mention that they took a lot of the environments, adapted them from MK versus DC for the benefit of not having to create them from scratch. And in addition to that, there's some of the background, some of the items that appear. For example, a lot of the ones that are related to Batman, the Arkham Asylum ones in particular, you see a lot of Batman's other villains in the background or in various parts of the scenes, and the character models for the background villains that are not playable are the character models from the Arkham Asylum Arkham City game series, so that's pretty cool to see. And I also like there's a lot of other characters that you see in various, like I said, some are in the backgrounds and levels, like Metallo or Metallo you can actually use as a weapon, or you'll see like Giganta fighting Molecule, what is it? They had the Atom over here or whatever.
Yeah.
And the one in particular is pretty awesome, but I don't remember which one it actually is. I want to say it's in one of Superman's worlds. Basically, you punch him. Basically, you hit your opponent flies through a portal. It's an apocalypse. Darkseid kicks the crap out of him for a minute, and then throws him through another portal and lands at the other part.
Yeah, there's one thing I would like to say about environmental stuff that I'm not sure I like. It's kind of cool, but it gets really annoying and really old fast. And that is, let's say for a minute I play as Batman, I'm playing against Superman. Okay, the way they've done environmental grapples in this game is, depending on the character you're playing, they do different things. Like, for instance, if there's a huge-ass car in the background, Batman's not going to be able to pick that up. So what he does is he vaults off it, or he'll plant a bomb on it or something, whereas Superman will pick that shit up and hurl it at you. Okay, so if you're Batman and you vault off, like, say, a car, okay, you'll do the backflip, you'll get off him, the car will still be there, so Superman can then go over there, pick it up, and punish you with it. Whereas if Superman grabs it first, picks it up, slams a car around, the car's gone, you can't use that as Batman. It's like, and while that's kind of cool that it does that, at the same time, it gets really, really annoying, because it's like, well, that's great, half the environmental shit I can't even use, and I get punished for it. Thanks, game.
Yep, which, like we said, choosing the environment is as important as choosing a character. Because, take the Atlantis throne room, in my opinion, that lends itself better to people that aren't super strength. Because you have a big pole going across the middle, you can slide along. You've got whereas Superman will punch the fucking tank of water and it'll go on once. If you're someone like Batman, you can use the wheel on the side, it squirts them with water, and that will recharge, and you can use that same one again and again and again. Which,
I was wondering what that wheel did, I couldn't figure it out.
yeah, it's for the smaller people to use the tank. It's kind of cool.
Fair enough, good to know.
It's like in Themyscira, Superman will pick up the lion head and break it on you once, but if you're Batman or someone smaller, you jump up, you pull the chain, fire squirts out their mouth, and it sets them on fire, and you can use that again and again and again, which means different ones actually benefit different characters, so it's a case of memorizing them and choosing your characters and stage accordingly. That's why, like, online, you have to choose your stage, and then it'll go between the two. That's why what you should be doing with that is choosing a stage which is best for your fighter, not necessarily one you enjoy the most. And they should be doing the same, and then it's like that's it's kind of like an extra helping hand. But yeah,
Fair enough. That's good to know.
let's move on to extras.
Agree.
Extras.
Sure.
Well, I'll let Marcus do extras first.
All right, let's see extras. So they have the standard battle mode where you go in and you say, I want to do, say, classic battle, which is the one that actually gets you the character endings. And it takes you through, like, 10 fights or something like that. The standard Mortal Kombat Battle Tower stuff. And then there's unlockable battle matches that you can get through the archives. The archives is the unlockables. You can unlock battle matches, hero card, portraits, costumes, music. There's a lot of unlockables. And we'll go through that in short time here. The second mode, however, is the one that I've been talking about the entire review. Star Labs missions, which is a good concept. A lot of them are fun to do. A lot of them are downright annoying. They have what are called star challenges. If you've played Arkham Asylum or Arkham City, you'll be kind of used to these. You'll recognize them because it's the same thing that Rocksteady Games used for the Batman level challenges. Where effectively you have 3 goals to meet in that particular mission, and each goal you meet gives you a star. Now, the nice thing that they do, they're not complete dicks about this, is the fact that you don't have to get all 3 stars in one go. In fact, some of the star challenges require you to go in at least twice to get all 3 of them. But some of them are just downright annoying. And like I said earlier, a lot of the missions are actually mini games and not fights, which is kind of cool, breaks up the monotony, but it's like... Because, like, for instance, I just got finished doing Deathstroke's campaign, if you will. Like, 70% of his missions are mini games. I'm, like, sitting here like, I want to fight as Deathstroke. I don't want to be sitting here, like, swinging his damn sword. No. I want to kick someone's ass. And then by the time I got to that, because it had been like a long string of like 4 or 5 mini games, it's like, okay, now how do I fight as Deathstroke again? So annoying, but it's fun, and it's you get to see a lot of stuff in there, a lot of stories and stuff. My one complaint, though, one big complaint, I wish they had voice acting for it, because it's like they bothered to include all of this. Each character has like one line when it starts out, and they can be bothered to ask the voice actors to, record that one line. So like a list of like 10 lines for the entire thing or something. It's like, that would have added so much to the game. But in terms of unlockables in the archives, again, like I said, the archives is where you unlock. They have unlockable battles that you can get for the battle arenas. They have unlockable what is called hero card portraits. Now, the hero card is what keeps track of your stats for both online and offline, and it's divided into 3 parts. You have a bar that has an image in the background, a small image. Mine is Batman's eyes from his cowl.
Mine's Nightwing's.
Yep. And it's got an icon that you can customize that's on the left-hand side of that bar. Mine is the bat symbol from Batman's chest.
Mine's Nightwing's sticks and an axe.
You can tell what universe we like, folks.
I don't know about you, personally, I've got Superman's cape in the background and a Superman logo.
Cool. And then the third section is on the left-hand side of your hero card, and it's the big picture that kind of, tells who you are. And mine is the bust of alternate Batman, Insurgent Batman, actually, because in my opinion, he's the closest looking to, real Batman in this game. So you can unlock different images for each of those, playing through each of the modes, the battle mode, go ahead.
I was going to say, which banner does James have?
Oh yeah, which image do you have, Jim?
Just regular Superman.
So yours is Superman. Marcus's is Batman. Mine's Nightwing, and my banner is... Any guess, James?
I would say Nightwing, but they're probably just doing this to trick me because it's not.
It's not. It's Supergirl.
Oh yeah. Wait, there's a Supergirl?
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently, the unlockables in the archives for the hero card images, They're all, were they images from comics or something? Is that what you said, Mole?
Yep, when you go under the part where the first part there and you see like XP and stuff, down the side is like a group of hero cards. I unlocked all of them. They're all stuff like there's Joker grins, there's Batman pictures, there's like a really well done Wonder Woman picture. They had a Supergirl, it's New 52 Supergirl, but I was like, it's Supergirl. She's one of my favourites, I had to take her. They have a load of them, they look cool.
That leads you to think and hope that she's going to be one of the DLC characters.
I hope so, and not Power Girl. I want Supergirl. But yes.
Yeah, no, fuck Power Girl.
Continue with the extras, Marcus.
Yes, so, as I was saying, you can unlock them through playing the various modes. Also, for those of you who don't know, as you play through the game, in all of its various modes, Star Labs, battles, even the story, and online, you gain experience and raise your level. And for each level you get, you unlock a hero card portrait. And then as you play through Star Labs missions, you unlock stuff for your hero cards, icons, and whatnot. You also get, as you level up and play through these, you get what are called armory keys, which you use those to unlock the alternate costumes. And there's one alternate costume for each character unlockable in the armory there. And they are the alternate reality versions, the ones that you see in the story mode. And some characters you don't see the alternate versions in the story mode, but they have a costume anyway. And you get the archive access keys, which you get a lot more of those, and that unlocks everything else. And as I was saying, the hero card portraits, the battles, you unlock the music from the game. I assume there's a music player in the game. I have not unlocked any of the music yet. What else is unlockable, Jim?
You got the endings, you got all that. But in terms of extras as well, like Marcus said, there's a lot of stuff to unlock. We will spend ages going through all that.
Yeah.
But let's talk. I'm going to talk about some extras as well. DLC.
Yes.
You have the Red Sun with 20 additional missions based on the graphic novel of the same name. You get 3 exclusive skins. Then there's also stuff like Zombie Mode, which is kind of cool. After a while, I kind of turned it back off, but it's kind of cool. You get Blackest Night Batman as DLC. There's a season pass they're doing. What do you guys think about the DLC?
It's pretty good. There's also the new 52 costumes, which are currently pre-order only. There's the Flashpoint costumes, which is a current DLC pack available now on the network of your choice.
Arkham, because Batman needs more stuff.
There's Arkham. There's the iOS stuff, which, okay, they're trying to incorporate that, but still, I want some of that stuff.
I'm hoping they bring that out as DLC later on. Yeah, we'll probably have to pay for it, but I'm hoping it's DLC.
There's also some unlockables tied to online, like, for instance, Yellow Lantern Hal, spoilers. You can unlock that. And I believe you guys said that's a costume, not an extra character, correct?
It is.
That's right. It's an additional costume for Green Lantern.
Yeah. You get that by winning one match online, which Jim, I have to tell you about that later. Pissed me off, Mole knows. But but future DLC coming out, there's going to be 4 characters that they're coming out with DLC. I'm assuming they're going to come with multiple costumes. They had better.
And I want to say,
they've only announced one so far, and it's going to be Lobo.
Yep. And I wanted to say, an online mode in a video game pissing you off. Spoiler alert.
Well, it's not so much the online mode. Well, hell, I'll tell the story here because it goes into online.
Hashtag goddamn targeting.
It had nothing to do with the targeting. But actually, I really do enjoy the online mode. We still have yet to try the
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill, and that's because of region locking, which we'll get into in a moment. Which is probably the big negative we all have for the online portion of this game. But what happened to me is, okay, so you have to win a match, only one match. The first match you win, you unlock Yellow Lantern Hal.
Correct.
Unfortunately, that's only if it registers that you actually won.
Hmm?
I went in, took me at least 6-7 matches because I kept getting my ass handed to me. Finally got into a match, Deathstroke v Deathstroke. And unfortunately for him, I'm the better Deathstroke player. So I beat the holy crap out of him. Went for my finisher, used the super move at the end. Pow, 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 pow. Sword to the chest. Pull out the guns. As I'm firing the guns, asshole rage quits.
And in the most ironic twist, when I mentioned it to him before and he agreed with it, don't you think people that rage quit online should get penalized? Thank God that's in. Wouldn't you agree, Marcus?
I completely agree. Yes. Yes, apparently when you rage quit, it brings up a big warning thing according to Mole saying, if you do this, your stats are going to get screwed. But anyway, so he...
I didn't try to rage quit to get that. It tells you that during a loading screen before you go in there. It's not like Mole went to quit and it said, warning, rage quitting. No, Mole didn't do that. Mole stayed even if he got his ass kicked.
Yes, but what happened is, so he rage quit, and I'm like, I got nothing, got no unlock, don't have a costume for hell. And I said, I wonder if it even counted. So I went and looked at my stats. Sure enough, I had one win on my under my belt. I was like, okay, cool, counted the win, but it didn't count as me having won. So therefore, it didn't unlock anything. Irony. So by rage quitting, the guy screwed his own stats, but he screwed me out of getting Hal Jordan.
Yep, which the online portion, they seem to have a load of modes there. They all seem to look fun. They have some of the ones from Mortal Kombat which were fun. Yeah, as Marcus alluded to, I'll let James talk about this one. Talk about the region lock, Jim.
Yeah, as we found out, and this was not really announced, it was a little hard for us to find out. What we found out is that, unfortunately, the game is, in fact, region-locked. Meaning that, unfortunately, you can only play online modes with people that are in your region. In this case, Marcus and I can have played matches against each other, him winning most of them, unfortunately, because of the fact that we're in the same region, we're both in the United States, whereas Chris is also, unfortunately, in Jolly-O-England, and because that's in the European region, he cannot play against us, which is kind of a bitch.
Yep. Although,
go ahead.
I'll say, although they've done a good job with the online, and it should also be noted, region locking is only in the PS3 version, apparently.
From what we've read, yes. I'd also like to mention, for the online portion, that at least when Jim and I played the day after it came out here in the US, there was some stability issues, because we have a couple of disconnects under our belt, under the player matches, not ranked matches, because we would try to play and the game would just, like, basically stop working. It kicked us out. It was like, game doesn't exist. So hopefully they'll fix that stuff. But for the most part, it's pretty stable and it's, pretty lag-free.
Agreed. Although, just to sum up extras, lots of unlockables, DLC, online's pretty cool.
Since I happen to have opened up the menu, you can also buy match boosters and increase your XP per match 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. There's also unlocked additional battles, like there's the classic battle.
That's what I said.
Yeah, he went through all them. I said we weren't going to read them off for time. Yes, to sum up, lots of extras to unlock. There's some DLC coming and season passes and stuff. There's online to play as. Extra wise, they did a pretty damn good job with the extras. So now we'll move on to the final verdict, and I will let James Phoenix take away the final verdict.
Okay.
Before he does, for extras also, I just thought about this. There's actually a trailer for an upcoming Superman animated movie as well, and I think it's a movie, and it looks pretty good.
Superman Unbound. It's featuring Superman and Supergirl, and it tells the story of Superman. I believe the comic is called Superman Brainiac. Is that correct, Mo?
It's from the Brainiac arc, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the story of how Brainiac first came to Earth and whatnot. It's a newly animated thing. I'm pretty sure it's got the same Superman voice actor as the game.
Although, it features Brainiac first appearing from the new universe before the New 52. Not the original Brainiac story.
Alright.
Which is kind of cool. I've read through most of that. It was cool.
Yes, and I'll also mention that, again, as we mentioned, there are, in addition to Lobo, an additional 3 DLC characters not yet announced. So, let us know. If you're a fan of Injustice, let us know. What characters would you like to see in the game? Comment below. But with that said, final verdict. Overall, I really like this game. And like I said, I'm usually not a fighting game guy, and I really like this game. So that tells me how good this game is. The gameplay is amazing. The graphics are great. The different modes. I do agree the story mode could have been a little longer. Some of the mini games from Star Labs could have been worked in. But the fact they have all this in the game makes it really awesome. I look forward to seeing some of the DLC. I just really love it. I've been playing this for a while, and if I had to rate this game, 9 out of 10. It's just a great game. I love it.
Okay, how about Marcus?
I too love this game. I'm not a huge fighting fan. I do like some fighting games. I own most of the Tekken series and Street Fighter and whatnot. But
I have Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, but I do like this game. Like I said before, I love the story. I thought the story was great. There were a couple of flaws in it, but for the most part, I thought it was done pretty well. I'd love to see an animated movie of it. I think it'd be totally amazing. But overall, yeah, the game is great. It's got decent graphics. I think it could do better graphics, but it's got decent graphics. It's got great gameplay, a lot of extras, a lot of extra modes and unlockables, which is great, and a lot of good stuff yet to come. In terms of the costumes, I told both Jim and the Mole this earlier. I think they should do like a classics pack or two where you get classic costumes. So you could have like the Raven costume we wanted, and like maybe the classic blue and gray tights Batman or something. The classic Superman. I think that'd be kind of awesome.
Or they could cheat with that.
Oh,
just import over the costumes from Mortal Kombat VDC for any of the characters who are actually in that.
There you go.
That could work, but as long as the models are the same, that could work. But yeah, so the game overall, great game. I would give this game, I'd probably say an 8.5 out of 10. There was enough flaws in the game and enough annoyances that it lowered the score for me.
Okay. Now, I'd also like to mention in relation to the costumes thing you mentioned, there's also another great unique bonus feature that they've released a version of the game for iOS on Mac. And if you play through that game, you can unlock costumes that you can then correspondingly open in the main console game. So that's pretty cool, too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus touched upon that before when we said we want them to be released later on as DLC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's cool. And my final verdict, in terms of a fighting game, it's not that deep. I'm going to be honest, it's not that deep. The fact, a lot of it's based on the environmentals and stuff like that, and the clash system means more of this is dumb luck, as opposed to skill, like most fighters. But they do get a lot of stuff right, and it was still enjoyable in terms of gameplay. Story mode, way too Batman-centric, but the story's still enjoyable. It just could have been better. Star Lab's kind of fun. Region Locked Online, I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, maybe a 7.5. Yeah, I'll go 7.5 out of 10. It could have been better. It's worth checking out. It's just if you're a hardcore fighter, you may want to avoid this. But
yeah, if you're a fan of the newer Mortal Kombat stuff, like Mortal Kombat VDCU and the last Mortal Kombat game, I think and you're a fan of DC, this game would be worth a look. If you're more of a tournament fighter, like you're into like Tekken and Street Fighter and stuff, yeah, as Mo pointed out, not so deep in experience.
To be fair, the last Mortal Kombat was deeper than this because a lot of it wasn't dumb luck. The dumb luck and the clash system kind of made it less deep than the last Mortal Kombat.
This is true, but I'm just saying if you're a fan of the last Mortal Kombat game, because a lot of it was derived from that, and it feels very similar. Like if you ignore the clash part of it, the rest of it does feel very similar.
It does. It feels similar, but at the same time its own entity with how they've done stuff, which is kind of cool. But I was your host, Chriz, aka The Mole. Before I go, I will also tell you, if you've watched this review, check out, it should be this month, possibly next month, another crossover with the three of us on Showtime in honor of Injustice, when we review The Dark Knight Returns, Part 1 and 2.
Yes, we will.
Yes. Oh yes, we will, and I'm very looking forward to it, because I would not pick Michael Emerson to play the Joker, but apparently he did a good job, so.
Yeah, apparently he's meant to have done a good job. But yes, joining me was Marcus Shadow.
See ya.
James Phoenix.
I will now rise from the ashes.
And I'm Chriz, aka The Mole, but you already knew that. See ya.